things that we really, a lot has been talked about Angolan women. Now, Angola, one of Africa's major oil producing countries, has had one political problem after another. After gaining independence from the Portuguese, from Portugal in November 1975, it had a 27-year civil war that took more than 2 million lives. Up until now, the country is still tackling the physical, social, and political legacy of that war. The question is, what is happening in the country now? That's the key question. What does the world and Africa needs to know about the people living there and the country as a whole? Those are the things that we really need to know in today's program. Now, with me in the studio today is Miss Rita Roberts, the Executive Director of Business for You. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me to Omega TV.
Okay. Now, so what's going on in Angola? What's going on in Angola? Very little is said about the development in Angola in terms of where the country is. Ever since, of course, Da Santo, the former president, and so on, you've got a new president, but very rare do we hear what's going on. You've been visiting the country, you're born there, you know more about it. Can you give us a brief on what's happening in the country? What's going on?
Okay, well, I can speak from my point of view, as I don't live there permanently, but I visit and also look at the current affairs every day and talk to families. And what's going on today is just us finding our way to learn to live without a war. Okay. We're still navigating our way in a world without a war. We lived for a long time during war, just on a survival mode. Trying to live another day, that was the key. That was the main thing. Now, we're trying to live another day when it comes to survival of making a living.
What is its impact on the people, especially the women? The impact, because there is always something which is left behind. You may move on, but it does not mean that you forget or that you've moved on. But the past still comes back to affect the present. What kind of legacy did it leave, and what impact has it got that you still live with people from Angola, live with it?
Well, I can tell you about women, for example. Most of our men went to war, and we left behind with children. Yeah. How to survive and make sure our children have food on the table.
Okay.
Our children don't go to bed hungry. Women learn to be the breadwinners. And that made us the breadwinners. For a moment, we became the fathers and mothers for our children.
All right.
And that made a woman of Angola very resilient, very resourceful. A woman learned to know, get up in the morning and go. When she comes back, she needs to have food on the table for her children. The husband wasn't there. Yeah. He was in the front line. She got to do what she had to do to make sure life is going, children are growing. You know, those who were in the places where education was still going in spite of the war, they put their children to learn. And there was places there, no such a thing as jobs, no such a thing as schools. It was war, it was intense.
The thing I can think about, because I was going through a bit of my research.
Yes.
And obviously the most famous woman in Angola is Queen Nzinga Bande, the 17th century queen who fought the Portuguese and won. The beginning of that has Angola, maybe the with the tribal issue, where women have got an upper hand in most of the things which are dealt with on a tribal level or on a cultural level. Women in Angola have always had an upper hand in that ever since that day. And maybe this is something which is being carried on even up to today, because from what I gather, There are so many women in business. There are so many women in various places of authority, regardless that the men are there, but women are still holding higher posts. The rest of Africa is catching up, but Angola is already there. Why is this so?
That is true, simply because we live on the shoulders of this woman.
Okay.
She left a legacy. That's Angola today, or the little that the world knows about Angola, is because of her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she achieved, her fight against the colonial powers, try to liberate her people. Yes, women always had power in Angola, even when it was not visible, even when we had kingdoms, like kings and chiefs. Was there women behind it? With the wisdom, the discernment that took men to the front to
fight,
to get the issues, across. We always had the grit, and we had men who trusted their women. We had this, and I think it's all over Africa, it's not Angola. We have these that women are mothers. And I really believe in a saying that goes, it's only two kinds of people in the world.
So I should say Angola is the only country in Africa where women are not marginalized. They are not marginalized in a way.
No, we are in so many ways.
How? Which ways?
We are in so many ways because from Dos Santos, for example, time until now, we regressed when it comes to women in empowerment and in strategic places. We were 37%, even in the parliament we had more women than we have now.
Okay, at the time, yeah.
Yes. So it's a little bit of regression, but the tendency is to push forward. Yeah, and even the men have the agenda in their minds that women have to be in the forefront of things. Because they know what the family needs. They know what the society is, the basis of who we are as families. Families make clans, and clans make tribes, and tribes make societies, and so on. And if you, but the men in power.
What's making the current status, especially of the modern man now?
Yes.
Not to bring a closure, not to bring a in a way that is it the equality term, the European effect, what is it? Because initially, even though it was there, the biggest change that has happened is that when they are so independent, then the men feel like threatened, and that independence threatens most of the men who are used to be breadwinners and looking after women. There is that angle in Africa.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And the government hasn't addressed it.
Yeah, it wasn't an imbalance per se. For years, we had no such a thing as employment because of the war.
Okay.
So many men, up till, let's see, 2000, there were men on their 40s, 50s who never held a job.
Yeah.
The war robbed us of the opportunities to have that employment or working culture. Okay. We didn't have that. So as soon as the war stopped, everybody from different countries was coming, and they had different agendas. They had different ways of doing things. We were pinned in a wall, like, what's going on? We never had that culture of business, people running around doing this and the other. We was just trying to navigate ourselves, be part of things we didn't understand.
You're right.
And the time went, and we're getting in there. We're learning from those who came in, and they brought business ideas and, business cultures and how to do things. We were selling. Women were selling stuff on the street to survival, but they didn't have the basics for how to do business. Okay. They just knew they had to buy something, resell.
It was survival of the fittest.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the question has always been, what happened to the men were not learning quickly to survive as well? Because it's like it created a breed of women, even up to now, who are survivors, who can stand up and fight for them. The young women are seeing their mothers, obviously, fighting the battles and winning and becoming successful, and they are doing the same, but they're leaving the men behind. And this could be a problem in future.
It is a problem right now.
Right now, it is.
Yes, because number one, we lost many men in front line.
Okay.
Which left us, some men have 3 women. They can't take care of them.
Yeah.
So the woman continues to be the one taking care of the man who doesn't have the opportunities open to him, and taking care of the children as well. If you don't have a job and you have more than one woman, what do you do? You know?
Yeah.
The mothers are still in a battle. Yeah. And in a way they got used to the idea that it's what they do. That's what they do.
I probably need to suggest to my friends to marry Angolan women, and maybe that's what I should suggest to them. Because they're hardworking women.
No, we are fighters, but I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Every woman likes to be cared for.
Yeah.
But the difficulties, the challenges of life, you gotta do what you got to do to see your family grow. Okay. You know, and as really Angolan system as it is now makes me really believe
with the current structure.
Yes.
And with the current system of education.
Right.
With the new president around.
Right.
Changes that have occurred from the previous president to the current president. Do you see that the imbalance of that could be tackled by the current government? The imbalance of say what men has got to be and what women have got to do in terms of education, in terms of being successful business people.
Well,
do you see the government stepping in? Because if the government doesn't step in, then
I think there's no communication between the heads of states and the people.
Okay.
And when people don't know what's happening, they just do what they have to do, and they continue to do as they always did.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And those who can't do anything, all they do is complain.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Because they don't know where they're going. They don't know what's happening with the head of states, what's happening, what's being resolved, what is the agenda, what is being done for the people to change their lives for the better.
Yeah.
At the moment, for a long time, we've been a very rich country.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
With a very poor people.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's the reality.
But it's the reality.
Yeah, but I'm sure the heads of states are doing their best.
COVID-19 came.
Yes.
And there was a lot. There was another issue, major issues with COVID-19, with the vaccinations and so on. Again, the coping mechanism of that. What really happened?
I must tell you, Angola wasn't as impacted as we were all like thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a genocide.
Disaster,
it's going to be a disastrous situation.
Yeah.
But they took measures before the things got really bad.
Okay.
And also there was an issue with lockdown. Why? Because women survive by being in the street selling.
Of course, yeah.
So there was issues where people were like being forced to stay home, and they couldn't stay home, seeing their children. Seeing their children hungry. So they were going against
the government,
the rules to survive. It's a tough one. It was a tough one because, a mother sitting there, see a child without food since morning. And they can't be in the street because of COVID. Yeah. As a mother, you got to use your...
Yeah, you got to use your initiative.
Exactly.
Now there has always been that obviously when the Portuguese were there, they were in control of the country.
Right.
There was still fighting going on because it's like Angola has been at war with herself for the last maybe a century or so. Because when the Portuguese were there, again, Angolans were fighting for independence. As soon as the Portuguese gave the independence, then there was another fighting again that took over. So it's like the country has been in fighting for the last maybe 50 to 80 years without a proper stability. And this is the first stability that the country is experiencing for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? they can't take it anymore. They look more that it was better when we were under the Portuguese, at least, because things would be seen and so on. There was this argument about that.
Yeah, it's this argument that, you know, I grew up in the colonial times.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even when we had the parties at the beginning and all that,
Yeah.
I was too young to understand it.
Yeah.
All I knew was like, okay, it was really nice. We had this communism system.
Yeah.
We had nothing, but we had each other.
Okay.
Angola have a culture of people care for one another. That was at the base of everything. We could live of hugs and kisses,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. But we lost that along the way because of so much suffering, pain, and, you know. We are regaining that. You still see some of that amongst us. And when the war was intense and nothing else was there to feed the children, we held on to each other.
Okay.
Who has a bread to share with somebody else who doesn't. If your children are hungry today, I may have a little bread or this or that. And we had that community spirit. And we still have that.
Oh yes, it's still existing.
Yeah.
It's the question of course my focus has always been that if there is a saying that if you teach a woman, then you have taught the nation.
Yes.
If a woman knows something, then the nation will know. But if a man knows something, then the nation might not even know. That's the saying. It's common thumping back home in Uganda.
Yeah.
You need to teach the women to let the world know. If you don't, now I'm looking at it. That's why when I look at, of course, women from Angola, and I hear the stories that have come from Angola, and I see the success and the failures. It's the transformation of that to the men, which I have a feeling women being jealous that they don't have to pass the knowledge on to the men.
No, not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
We Angolans are we are very protective of our men.
Really?
Despite of all the
problems. Yeah.
The problems and the, you know, after wars, lots of trauma.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
You know, and Africa is not a place that acknowledge, you know, therapies and, you know, you got to get through that. We don't understand that. You just get on with it.
Yeah.
You get on with life.
Yeah.
And it's our mothers, it's our sisters, it's the women comforting. And it's our men in their own ways comforting us as well. It's us looking into each other's eyes and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, but it has
But
to go on.
we had it worse.
How about the rest of Africa now? Because I'm seeing, for example, the issues that, for example, that you do, the kind of work that you do.
Yes.
With the entrepreneurship happening to be with women,
Yeah.
with what is going on at the moment, and
Yeah.
the door, Angola opening her doors to everybody walking in and
Yeah.
doing business there.
Yes.
But opening, making sure that the country is open for business with them. But it's more open to Europeans, Americans, than the Africans. The English are now going there. Why is it not opening to the rest of Africa? So that if I walk in Angola tomorrow,
Yes.
as a Ugandan,
Yeah.
will I be?
Oh yes. The first ones after the war stopped in 2002.
Yeah,
One of the first people to get in there was Nigerians.
Nigerians.
Yes.
No,
And then the people from Mali. All you go there today, all the warehouses
Yeah.
are from Mali.
There are no
people from
Ghanaians. I've got my producer here would be very interested in
Oh,
going there to do some
Angola
business.
is open for business.
Yeah, what kind
But
of
don't
business
go
then?
there counting on the government projects.
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there with your own, you know, resources and set up a business.
Okay.
And now you actually have a choice. Either you have a local partner
Okay.
or you can work on your own accord.
Yeah.
Just use outsource who you want to work with. Yeah, set up. The little challenge you may have, we have now lots of people speak English, is the language barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that can be navigated, that can be managed with the
And
support of the locals who speak English.
What kind of projects, if anything, if things that you've worked on, for example,
Yes.
in the country, what kind of projects are there that the rest of the world can look at, and
Okay.
especially Africa? Because
Okay.
I'm looking at Africa. If Africa is to develop,
Yes.
we have to look at the Africans.
Totally, I agree.
So what can Angola sell to the rest of Africa other than oil?
Other than oil, we
Yeah.
actually have lots of products.
Yeah.
Lots of products, agricultural products. I have people sending me samples of honey.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
I have people send me cashew nuts. I have people asking me, is he an opportunity to get to the, the world market
Yeah, yeah.
to actually sell what we have.
Okay.
Agriculture is very low at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of the things that I think the government is open to.
But what about the political implication of that? The people, the government cycles, if you
Yes.
have to overrun them, because one of the biggest problem in Africa has always been you have to have a license to do this, you have to be allowed by the government to do this, you have to,
No,
so that the corruption in the country prevents most of the people from doing business properly, because at the end of the day, you're going to go there, you lose your money, they need a license for this, they need this, they need that.
Well, I
These
tell you
lessons
one
which
thing.
need to be overcome. How do you overcome all this?
One thing at Angola, I can speak
For yourself.
for myself and by experience.
Yeah.
Angola is for the resilient. Europeans have a lot of difficulties doing business there.
In Angola.
Yeah, because they go and want to be where the other Europeans are.
Okay, okay.
And they want to do things, but they don't want to stay there. That's why the Asians go there and they win most of
the Indians and Chinese.
They
are
don't
there
care
now.
what the situation is.
The
They
Indians and
stay.
Chinese, they stay there.
They go through everything that the locals go through.
Yeah.
And Angolans, the more they know of you, the more they know you, the more they want to work with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's about, they want to earn your trust first.
Okay.
I took quite a number of European companies there. The first week, the Europeans want to go there and spend a week. You cannot do that in Angola. You gotta go at least 2 to 3 weeks to start with, even if it's just an exploratory kind of a trip.
Yeah.
If you just want to know or go and see what works, what doesn't, who is who, and what and when and where. You gotta go there with an open mind.
Okay. Okay.
You want to go there to just meet the locals, go places and see how things are and how people behave.
Yeah.
Culture is very important.
Yeah, to Angolans.
Yeah, the more you understand the culture, the more you show that you're willing to be part of what's going on, the better.
Yeah.
As a business person.
The political structure, I still come back to that, because
Yes.
the failures have always been, if I want to go to Kenya tomorrow,
Yes.
and then Ghana tomorrow, and then there is the cultures and everything, you may be welcome. But when it comes to saying, oh, I want to invest £100,000 here, for example, I want to do ABCD, then somebody on the other desk said, oh, we need to give you this. You need to have, it's those kind of things which really put people off.
That put people off.
Is that sorted out in a way?
No. We working. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Remember, we didn't even have an employment culture, like working culture, let alone business.
Okay.
And somebody can see or want to move forward and they change things if they know that is wrong.
All right.
If you don't know you're being corrupt by asking certain things and
Yeah.
do certain, then it makes it difficult to
To
change.
change that.
Yeah, because they don't see how is that bad. Why do you think this is bad? Because
it's been happening.
yes,
it's going
it's
on.
everywhere.
So
why
it's not
shouldn't I
bad.
ask you for this or that if you want to do business here?
Yeah. How about the literacy levels? The people who are educated in a way, their numbers, because what I was reading about was their numbers.
Yes.
Okay, people speak Portuguese, but basically when it came to, because of the war, the educational structure was almost whipped out.
Yes.
Now you have numbers that have never been to school and they're in projects, they are dealing with certain issues. I mean, it becomes difficult to deal with them if they
Yeah,
have
because
very
they
little
don't have
knowledge.
the level of understanding of things is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we have lots of well-educated people, actually, like people with degrees and masters. We got PhDs.
You got people coming
but
from
the
abroad
opportunities are not
who are
there.
Angolans. Yeah, you got Angolans who have...
Remember, after the war, we had that phase that Angola was shooting up.
Yeah.
The post-war economy was booming.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to be there. I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and to bring the little I learned here to implement there, and you know, just help make things better for
Yeah, but then what
people.
happened?
But
Happened? Yeah.
then the number one, the oil industry collapsed for a little while.
Yeah.
That really, and we were depending fully on oil.
Okay.
Oil and gas. That disrupted a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then the change of one system to another.
One leader.
One leader to another.
Yeah.
That also just brought completely different things.
Okay.
So it was a bit of disruption, and we're still pulling out of that.
Okay.
You know, what's now? Where we going?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people that still live in the country today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's looking for better life. We all have the right to live and have a bit of a life. Those who can, those who have the opportunities, are still live in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody, every Angolan want to be home.
Yeah. Now, Princess Diana, years ago,
Yes.
she worked on the mines, and she even dedicated a whole charity to go over there.
Yes.
She went there.
Yes.
She dug up mines, and she brought in retired soldiers from here to America to go and clear the minefields,
Yeah.
which had been left behind by UNITA during the war.
Yes.
And even up to today, they say that the mines are still existing in certain areas.
In certain areas are still,
and
yeah.
you've got a lot of people who have amputated legs and so on. How is that now? Because ever since her death, the media has disappeared
Yes.
on that issue. We saw a little bit of photograph of the young girl she was with, who
Yeah.
Diana met, and she's now a big woman with kids. Nothing is coming out even from the government to tell anybody that, listen, we are doing a great job to clear more than 4,000 fields for mines and so that. Nobody's hearing anything. How is that?
It's
What's
because
going on?
there was when Angola was coming up
Yeah.
rapidly after the war.
Yeah.
The mines were in the right place. The government had things set up to really get support for
Because
people.
the money was given,
Yes.
despite the fact that the government had money. But money came in from charities from UK here.
Yeah.
That
I didn't know
Diana,
that.
Yeah. Princess
Right.
Diana raised a lot of money. There
Right.
was an event in central London, I think in one of the parks in London, and a lot of money was raised. And people left to go and help with the clearing of the mines.
Right.
And this was at the time when the Santo was president. They went to clear the mine. Even amputated, even artificial limbs were sent.
Yes, I remember that.
Because I covered that story
Yeah.
for a magazine. All that, the problem is getting the feedback to know what really happened. Are these minefields been cleared now?
But you
that
see,
we don't have a problem with that?
when there's so many problems happening,
Yeah.
there's no focus on things.
Okay.
The focus keeps switching from one thing to another. Even those local people were really kind of, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do for that person who lost their limbs and doing this and that.
Yeah.
And then you start suffering again. All the focus is back to yourself because you're not doing well.
Oh, yeah.
And you forget the pain of the other person because you're hurting as well.
Okay.
So the focus is not consistent on things.
Yeah.
And therefore, we need to find that, and we need to find that focus again, to see where most pain is and how we can alleviate.
Now, Portugal
Yeah.
has not been very good with its former colonials from former colonies.
Yeah.
It's almost like the French. They haven't really done what the British did to their, well, I know this is something not basically for you, there's nothing you can do about it, but it is something that I just wanted to comment on, because Portugal will be doing a lot for Angola. Yeah, they'll be doing a lot for Angola in terms of saying, okay, you speak Portuguese, you're one of our former colony, there's a lot that we can gain. The way the British are doing with Ghana, Uganda, or any other person where they are. Why is this? Is there still enmity between the Portuguese and Angolans?
We have this love-hate relationship.
Why?
We can't live without each other. We can't live with each other. Angolans, the first thing when things go wrong in Angola,
is to blame the Portuguese.
Blame the Portuguese, and that's where they go anyway.
Yeah, that's where they go, but they're blaming the Portuguese.
Yeah. If we're not blaming each other, we're blaming the Portuguese. It's that love-hate, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of relationship that you know is always going to be there.
Yeah.
And, the Portuguese, if you look back in history, they're not the best as well. They haven't been really on the top of the...
Of helping their former colonies.
Yeah. Even the economy never really been...
They never built it. They never built it.
Never being so as good as the British, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to help Angola as they could or should, or don't know. Yeah. This is something out of my league, I guess. When the colonial system left, I was young.
Yeah, I know.
But I tell you, in spite of everything, we had parties and everything. I had a good childhood.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love to hear
it. Was good. Yeah. It was good because it was
well,
very naive and innocent.
The thing is, it's innocent. What you didn't have, you never know. You
That's
never
exactly.
know. Yeah, you never knew that.
Yeah.
You are supposed to wear shoes, for example.
Yes.
If you never knew that you're supposed to, then you are happy.
You don't miss it, right?
You don't miss it because
exactly.
you didn't really care.
What you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, what you don't have, you don't miss.
Yes.
So at the end of the day,
exactly.
That's what was happening. Yeah, regardless of what was going on around you, as long as you're happy, you know. So, but it's now that you're looking at that and you're saying, I think this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to do.
What we're struggling with, I think we all know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because we can see clearly that people need to see a sense of direction.
Okay.
We don't quite know what's happening, and nobody's telling us.
All right.
And that makes it all difficult to, we keep guessing.
We keep guessing.
And gossiping with each other or complaining with each other.
We keep guessing which direction the government is going.
Are we going
backwards or forwards?
What's happening?
Yeah,
the conversation is not there. I guess that's what the main situation is.
Yeah.
And when you don't know, you just guess and you say things. Maybe that is not the reality of things. You have a perception and of what you think is happening. Yeah. So it's a tough call, but that's
it's another thing that the diaspora,
the
Angolans in the diaspora, which is quite a huge number.
Huge number.
Yeah, but it's not
the Angolans everywhere in the world.
But it's not as active as, for example, the Ghanaians in the diaspora, the Nigerians in the diaspora, or even the Ugandans in the diaspora.
Because their reality is different.
There seem to be a disunity. Because I discovered that even when I was trying to get someone to come down, and, there's that disunity. Where does that come from?
I agree.
A tribal issue?
No. Actually, one of the things that Angola don't have, our tribal division is not as strong as other countries, you know. And the reason is because during the war, the safest place to be was the capital. Luanda. So people came from all over the country.
And stayed in the capital.
Yeah, and the only language in common we had was Portuguese.
All right.
So that's why the younger generation don't longer speak the local languages because as a consequences of
the war, everybody was speaking Portuguese
in order to get along and communicate with one another. Yeah, as they say, Luanda was built for 500,000 people, and it's about 6 million
now.
or more.
Oh.
Yeah. So everybody's there. Nobody managed yet to like fully go back to where they're from.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Yeah, but then how does it feed? Because the food that was coming in from I think the Congo, even as far as Ghana, Cameroon, and so on, most of the food comes in differently. Yet Angola has land to do
we have lots of
farming
land
and all that. But the food is coming from Ghana, from Nigeria, from other parts of Africa.
Again, because we relied, number one, we relied a lot on oil and gas.
Okay.
Only recently, the new president really started enforcing diversification to different industries.
Okay.
And now we're thinking more of agriculture.
Yeah.
And also maybe what we are lacking now is experience.
Experience.
Yeah, because to farm you need to know what to do.
You need to know what to do.
And the older generation that was really good at it is no longer with us.
Yeah.
Most of them are gone.
But you have.
So we need to learn from the ones coming in, or the few that left that can do it.
You have a Portuguese settlements, the Portuguese who settled in Angola.
Yes.
Who are still living in Angola.
They're doing agriculture. Though.
They're in agriculture.
Yeah.
The way Zimbabwe.
But it's not enough to feed the whole country.
This is where you would go back to the Portuguese and say, this, we need more Portuguese farmers to come in. Huh?
Yeah, if we had a chance to like get the people in the diaspora that really studied, real heads, people are smart.
Okay.
If we had a chance to go back and really put our heads down and start bringing the country forward, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But that time when Angola was doing well, many people went back.
Yeah.
But they couldn't stay.
Yeah.
Because the opportunities were not given to them.
Okay, but I think
then they came back. You see.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to is to look at yourself. You created the opportunity, so sometimes you don't have to sit and wait for the opportunity to be created for you. As you created it, a person who is in the diaspora, so can other people create their own opportunities.
But the system has to be open to let you in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you studied, let's say, agriculture, and you get there, nobody's willing, nobody's listening, nobody's
not even
giving
the Minister of Agriculture. Not even the Minister of Agriculture will let you do something about agriculture when you're there.
And even when you form a company, if people are not prepared to work for you, they're not loyal, they get to work anytime they want. They don't have that in their culture. They haven't learned it.
Okay.
You see, so it's a work in progress. It's going to take us time, but we definitely get there, because now we're getting people from different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
We get Asian people. We get people from different parts of the world, and we're really easily influenced.
The Chinese have come in, and the Chinese have come in, and I was going through, and I was realizing they are trying even to go into agriculture. They're trying to go into buying land and using the land. And I was thinking the regions of Cabinda and where the gold and diamond is. Cabinda, there's a region called Cabinda.
Yes.
And I was going through that, and I was seeing, well, the Chinese were trying to buy something like 10 miles or something like that of what. And then
you know what makes me glad?
Government has to step in,
It's something that makes me happy that the government came up with. You cannot buy land, you can lease land, just like England.
Yeah.
Because if we were allowed to like just freehold and buy everything, Angolans will have nothing left.
The Nigerians and Ghanaians would have bought most of the land.
So because it's leasing, that really save us. Maybe in the future, a new generation will have that chance to have freehold.
Because even the amazing thing is that the biggest surprise to me is people from Lebanon.
Yes.
Lebanon who are actually in Ghana.
They're in Angola.
Nigeria. But now they're moving into Angola.
They're in Angola.
They're doing a lot of investment because they have had problem in Ghana. But Nigeria, they are also moved into Nigeria. Nigerians have started waking up and saying, why are you here? You know, now they have moved into Angola. I don't know whether the system that allows them to move in the West African regions.
But you see,
freely
we had quite over 300,000 Chinese before
yeah.
the pandemic.
Okay. Okay.
Now there's a lot less of them.
Yeah.
And also, I think has been all the agreements and the contracts they had was with the previous
With
leader.
the previous government.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Now the new ones trying to see how to manage that relationship with
Okay.
more
Okay.
caution.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think is happening.
But what I see with the Lebanese is that they come in under the ECOWAS, and then on top of that, they're coming in such a way that with them they're coming in to settle. They're not really coming in to work. They're not going
anywhere.
Yeah, they're coming in to settle. And as you know,
Angolan land is vast.
Yeah,
it's space for everybody.
Yeah.
And on top of it, we lost lots of people.
Yeah, yeah.
What bothers us is the intention of those coming.
Yeah.
If they come in to exploit the locals, to mistreat, if they come to take over, then get people a bit unsettled.
Yeah.
Unsettled people get a bit worried, you know. If you come and you start companies and you employ people and you don't pay them properly, you don't take care of them,
it's something else.
then it becomes, but because we have a need, we don't have our own company set up.
Yeah.
We're depending on them. Sometimes the people just put up with whatever is.
It's existing.
Yeah. And that's the issues we have. But I'm sure our heads of state, even the people itself, they can see it.
They can see it.
They can see it through that, and they're learning to navigate.
Yeah.
You know, you can. You can beat a person for as long as you can until they go like, okay.
Until the time comes when you suddenly realize,
Totally.
Now, the intertribal conflicts
Yes.
is another issue that wasn't so much on the radar when you had a common enemy to fight. When the war was there was no problem. When as soon as the war ends, suddenly you start realizing that your neighbor is from another tribe, and you don't want him near you. But when you had a common enemy, we say we're fighting the Portuguese, we're fighting the war. There wasn't any of that. But now
that's the Angolan.
Now that all that common enemy has gone, the system is coming in. Even Cubans who are there have started having problems because there were Cubans who came in to settle. Fidel Castro sent a number of soldiers to come and fight when they, when the South Africans came.
That's that's a story for another day. Yeah. Cubans did a lot for us, I'm telling you.
Yeah. They did a lot.
I was there, I lived it.
Yeah. They did a lot.
They did a lot.
Why are they being given credit then? They're not being credited for having done that.
Well, I was quite young, but it puzzles me too.
Yeah.
Because I lived firsthand the help and the support and
the doctors, the engineers,
the risk they took for us.
Yeah.
I don't know the underlying issues, why they're not getting enough credit, but I can say personally, I lived it and I saw the impact of what they did.
Okay.
In my own life.
Yeah. Because
and the ones around me.
Yeah. Because it's the difficult part of it is that we never lived there. We never lived through that. So we don't really know what happened. But we're reading about
with the tribes now, the situation is as much as we want to push each other apart, we can't. Because during the war, while we were concentrated in one place, we were all in one place, we mixed with each other. Now I may not like you because you're from the south.
Yeah, but you had a common enemy. So
not only that. Now my sister, my brother has a child with your brother. So how am I gonna just not like you when now we?
You don't have that choice. That choice is not
families,
there anymore.
The choice is there. People tend to want to do it, and then they realize, well, my brother has a son with somebody from the north. How am I gonna mistreat somebody from the north,
Would not
I'll be
brother-
mistreating my own. You know what I mean? Yeah, and if you realize Angola is one of the countries, we mix with everybody.
Yeah.
We don't have issues. Some countries are really rigid on their way.
There is a tribe called Baswahili, and I kept wondering, because Swahili is spoken to in East Africa, and then I was talking to somebody and said, how could a tribe called be Baswahili? And in there, because Swahili is one of our languages, which came about because of the Arabs and the Africans. It's a creation, it's a language which was created by the Arabs and Africans doing trade.
Right.
So there's no tribe called Baswahili. It's like Pidgin English. You can't say somebody is a Pidgin English. No, Pidgin English comes from a mixture of English and the local
That
tongue.
just makes you believe
But,
in certain things when
what
they
is-
say people. Really, we came from two people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Adam
some
and
went
Eve.
to east, some went south,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always a little bit of each other on each other.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe that very much.
So the situation now, when you look at Angola, as when you look at the country, how can all these things we've been talking about be
Yeah.
overcome? What is the gist of something that the government needs to do, or because if the rest of Africa is to come in, we've had that.
I think we are doing the right things,
You are.
speaking about the issues.
Okay. That's
Now the
first
media helps a great deal.
thing. Okay.
Now we can actually name the issues we have. And when the conversation's in the table,
Yeah.
there's a chance there'll be a solution at some point.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Because you're talking about it.
Yeah, we just need a sense of direction and how the steps to get where we want to get
Okay.
as people and as a country. Yeah, and I still pray and hope that we get back into that.
You don't need somebody,
Unity.
You don't need someone to guide you and lead you, just like Jesus lead people out of the desert or something. You don't.
That's
need,
why we have leaders, right?
No, I'm saying you an organization or something like that, something big.
No,
that
every
can,
home needs a head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it all starts from home.
All right.
And that's why we have leaders and we're looking up to them.
Yeah.
We're counting on them to, like, if you're in a place where it's dark and somebody tells you the light is here, the light is here.
It's at the other back side of it.
Yeah, it's just perseverance. That's
Yeah.
what we need.
Yeah.
And the new generation is really consistent in what they want and they're adamant to get it. So I hope that we get there. And that's, as it comes to women,
Yeah.
I am proud
Yeah.
to be an Angolan woman. We are a force of nature.
Okay.
And the circumstances took us to where we are today.
I should say that by the way, the rest of Africa,
Yes.
that we should do look at the Angolan women and as an example.
We are
Because
fighters.
Having read that they are fighters, they are,
Yeah.
all that.
And-
but then the thing is that the only thing that maybe worries some of us, the men, is
Yes.
that you probably have left the men behind in a way where you are walking a mile, the men are half a mile away.
No, I
is there
don't-
a way
I don't believe that.
You can bring the gap closer.
I don't
The way-
believe that because in our fights, we're carrying our men with us.
Yeah.
We are.
You are saying that, but other women, other men and other people are saying something different. Because
Because our men suffered a lot. But then to get help, you must want it.
yeah, you must
Right?
want help.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
But
know-
if you have not been educated to want that help, how are you going to get? How are you going to get
Yeah,
it?
you just get get into what
I'll put you on the spot on that.
Yeah,
Because
you get
see-
into to become educated. But
Yeah.
some people too rigid on their ways.
Yeah.
I am the way I am, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
when that's the case, nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we can't all be heads.
Yeah,
Somebody
but
have
no,
to do.
I know, but
you
it
know.
has to start somewhere. It has to be at the beginning where the women's organization.
Yes.
Because this is what I've been talking about over the years, because we have that thing culturally as men.
Yes.
And we're saying,
ego.
We have the male ego.
Right.
That male ego is
Yes.
preventing us, most of us, from saying, look, how can women do this? And yet women have come down. They have gone into these organizations and they have managed to succeed, and they listen and they learn and then they carry on. Then when it comes to the men, if you've learned that, you're going to bring your child, you're going to bring your family, you're going
Yes.
to teach them
Yes.
and say, listen, this is where we are. You know, I mean, in Kenya and I think Rwanda now,
Yes.
and Uganda to a certain extent, but mainly Rwanda.
Yes.
Rwanda has pulled so many women away. And
Yes.
Kagame was telling the same thing the other day, said, as you go along, remember, you have your fathers, you have your daughters, you have your sons. Don't leave your sons behind, and don't leave because
It's
you're
because
saying they're
women
men.
tend to be more transparent about things.
Yeah, but
and more honest and
the
loyal.
Angolan women,
Yes.
from what I heard,
Yes.
are not carrying the men with them. Maybe that's the message. If something I got wrong. They are
Right.
not carrying. They are carrying themselves. That's why there are so many entrepreneurs. And out of 20 women
But
entrepreneurs,
I
there's
can
only
tell
one
you
man, or
as
there's
much.
none.
I can scream at you, come with me. But you want to work. You must be willing to come, right?
Yeah, putting
You
this
must
on the
willing to come.
Yeah, drag me.
Yeah.
Drag me if you can.
If you want to be dragged,
Yeah,
right?
drag me if you
That's
can
why
to
I'm
make sure that,
saying, get
yeah.
me into the system.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me be part of what's going on
Yeah.
in the leading parties and
Yeah.
the parliaments and all that.
Yeah.
So I can give you my suggestion of what I think we should do.
Okay.
But if you keep me out of it,
Yeah.
my voice is not heard. I'm going to find my own way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I won't sit back
Yeah.
and wait for you to resolve my life when my children are crying.
Yeah, of course not, of course not. But then the point I'm trying to, I think I'm dragging this all along.
Yes,
for,
go
For
ahead.
the main's point of view
That's
is that yeah, when they pull themselves away,
Yes.
they're helping their children. They're helping their children, obviously, as
Yes.
mothers. But then they forget that they need to help the husbands as well to come along. Because then if you say, oh, no, she needs to come anyway. I mean, it's...
Maybe that's what a woman, Angolan woman, needs to know, because she learned.
Because
She learned to help. Just hold.
Yeah.
She learned to help our children
Yeah.
while her husband was in a war or was
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody taught her
But
how
you
to
need
help.
to learn you need
To
to help
help
your
your
husband.
man as well. on our mind is, I'm going to do this until he comes back.
Yeah.
Then he came back and he didn't know what to do. And she doesn't know what to do
I had an issue
with him.
we have an issue here where a Ghanaian sergeant a Ghanaian sergeant I knew from the Ghanaian from here in London.
Yeah.
I was stopped by the police years ago when I was driving, and
Right.
when we went up police station and we had said, look, my wife had been driving for years and has never been stopped, and he was laughing at me. He said, no. The thing is, in this country, if a house gets fire, they need to learn this. If a house gets fire, they will pull out a young child, they will pull out a woman, and then they will ask, is there any man in there? Or they'll pull out a dog, sorry. They pull out a dog. Then afterwards, they'll
That's
ask,
a bit of
if
exaggeration.
there is a man out there, can you jump? Can you jump? They won't pull you out. They will ask you to jump.
Because
if you
that's
can.
what the
Because
world-
the structure
Yes.
that is sold. Women have got to be helped all the way. Now it reaches an extent where they have reached the top,
Yes.
and then suddenly they realize they've got sons, they've got daughters.
I think despite...
That's what I'm trying to say, that
Yeah,
the
I think
Angolan issue
Yeah.
has to come in. Maybe it has to be education or something. And see that the
Perhaps
men
that's what we need.
Men have got to be pulled out.
But men need opportunity. And the opportunities are not in a women's hand.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Even when women are millionaires, like the Angolan women are?
We definitely involve our men. The very few.
Maybe I'm wrong from what maybe
I
I'm
think
wrong
so.
from
I
what
think-
my research
I
has
think
told
from
me.
where you're standing
Yeah.
is different from where I'm standing.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
because I believe really.
Then I apologize on that.
Yeah.
Because
If I have to say something,
Yeah.
I believe what is said.
Yeah.
There's only two kinds of people in the world:
kinds
women and their children. And their children involves men.
okay,
Right?
Okay.
You still, remember women are the gate to the world.
Yeah, all right.
Right?
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother reminded me of that.
That's
so many
it.
times. Yeah,
We are the gate to the world.
Yeah, I know.
We cannot go on
But you are the
without
gate.
you.
But make sure you open the gate for everybody. Yeah?
We are the gate to the world. You come into the world through us.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
So we always thinking of you. You're never behind.
Yeah. Ah.
You're never behind.
That's easier said than done. That's what I'm saying. Look, why am I fighting for the men? I don't know whether the men I'm fighting for.
Yeah, because the men are children.
Yeah, okay.
So
course,
it's not like a them and us. It's not such a thing.
I've turned my program into a kind of a sex battle.
No, it's not such a thing. It's it's women and our children, and the men still are children.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. I agree with you too.
And we do care.
Yeah. Of
we
course.
do.
Of course.
Yeah.
We
do care a great deal.
I probably go out there and form a men's organization.
A woman can be really mad at you.
Because there's a conservative minister here who's saying that they had a women's minister.
Okay.
And he was actually suggesting that they should have a men's minister as well. And he won't only be dealing with the health, he'll be dealing with so many other issues that men go through.
Yes.
The mental health.
There's a lot going on. Essentially, after the war, our men went through loads of, it's lots of trauma.
Yeah, I know.
And there's trauma in every aspect, you know. It's men who, because of the war they went through, and it's women who were left behind.
Yeah, okay. Now we're coming towards the end of the program.
Yes.
How do you see the future of Angola, despite what we've just said here? How do you see the future
If you allow me to dream, if you allow me to dream, we go back to when people were united. The giggle of a child was real. Hugs were warm.
Okay.
Smiles were friendly. And the memories of the lines of yellow pineapples and the greenery of the cornfield and the avocado green, you know what I mean? And leave that and you see the turquoise waters filled with fish where child did not go hungry, where men are really feeling their responsibilities and their families, and we're living again.
Okay. So that is how you look at the future. That's how you see the future.
That's what I would love to see the future to be. Even if we don't get into that extent, a bit of that, where we can all sit in a table and we can all think of the goodness of each person in a table. Get everybody be really inclusive. See real smiles on a child's face again.
Okay.
Yeah. See a woman that for so long has been so strong, really get a real embrace from the strong arms of a man.
Yeah, you got that from Martin Luther King. It says,
Did I?
have a dream speech. I mean, it's coming almost to that.
Not at all. But that's my hope. That's what
It's quite interesting.
Yes.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's what I love to see. And
that is the future you're looking at in
Angola. At Angola. And that was tended to the whole of Africa, where we're living all like... in a world that is peace and love and really and great understanding, and children are growing into a place that they become leaders that are,
I've got the message.
That a woman can look back and say, my God, I fought for those children to reach this point and it was worth it.
Okay. Point taken and understood. I just want to say thank you very, very, very much for coming on the show to tell us about Angola.
You're more than welcome.
And I hope our viewers have learned a lot in terms of what we need to know about Angola, because we hadn't really had enough about Angola.
But it's time to start. You as a person in media to go there and start promoting our beautiful country.
We will. I'm sure I'll talk.
It's a lovely country. You got to come.
I'll talk to the producer about this, and maybe one of these days, if the money comes,
please.
we go to Angola and pay a visit and maybe enjoy the life in Angola.
Yeah,
as well
and I keep telling everybody,
yeah.
until you've been there, you haven't lived.
Yeah. Okay, that's a very nice one.
Come home.
Okay, once again, thank you very much for
You're
coming
very
on the show.
welcome.
And,
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. I hope we'll be again together next week for another edition of Africa Speaks. And